And now, let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's contest. First, for the visiting Terriers, a junior captain, number 13, Cody Robinson. A junior midfielder, number 8, Mickey Woodrow. A senior forward, number 10, Joshua Joseph. A first-year forward, number 14, David Iverson. A first-year defender, number 20, Christian Kjartansson. A first-year defender, number 21, Maxwell Gilbert. A first-year defender, number 25, William Glennie. A first-year midfielder, number 29, Kebroy Spence. A first-year midfielder, number 32, Adam Elcott. A first-year defender, number 33, Isaiah Francis. And a goal, a first-year, number 98, Jamie Fishner. Thomas is under direction of head coach Kyle Fletcher. And now, let's meet the starting lineup for your Husson University Eagles. A graduate student from Concord, New Hampshire, number 6, Mosi Masimango. A freshman from Nepal, Netherlands, number 41, Wessel DeWitt. A sophomore from Portugal, Portugal, number 2, Miguel Dubajal. A senior from Los Rosas, Spain, number 4, Pedro Molina. A sophomore from Caracas, Venezuela, number 5, Victor Blanco. A senior from Madrid, Spain, number 9, Mario Alvarez. A senior from Los Rosas, Spain, number 11, Alejandro Mora. A freshman from Morberge, France, number 15, Thibaut Desorme. A sophomore from Bogota, Colombia, number 20, Daniel Noguera. A junior from Caracas, Venezuela, number 21, Carlos Echevers. And a graduate student from Farmingdale, Maine, number 39, Josh Neto. The Eagles are coached by Carlos Bermudez, and he's assisted by Matt Goodman and Alex Bryant. Fans, at this time, we ask you please to rise and honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
And welcome to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. I'm Avery Henningsen alongside Caden Trenoweth here as we're set to bring you Husson men's soccer taking on the Thomas College Terriers here. Caden, always a good matchup between these two.
Absolutely. It's a rivalry we love to see. It's always going to be a fast, chippy game. And just thinking back to last year when these two teams met in the quarterfinals, we were on the call, and that was just an amazing game. Down to the last minute, 4-3, Thomas with a late goal. I mean, those last 10 minutes of that game were super chippy, super high flying.
I know we were on our feet, both of us, for that one. It was a close game. The Eagles outshot Thomas 26-7, but only 7 of those going on target for the Eagles. But these two teams, obviously no strangers to each other. The Eagles have won or tied every matchup since 2019, which has them a little bit in the driver's seat in terms of overall win-loss record against each other. The Eagles right now 34-29-3. So two teams that know each other really well out there on the field, Caden.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to expect a high-fly game here. I mean, it always is, from the first whistle to the last whistle. The only time you might see a little bit of a break is during halftime, and even then it still might get chippy. It always is fun. This is a game we always circle on the schedule.
And this Thomas team is definitely led by their offensive weapons out there. Joshua Joseph, the reigning player of the year for the North Atlantic Conference. A lot of speed out there, Caden, in that offense.
Yeah, absolutely. If I remember right from last year, he was someone who really controlled the offense. The offense from the midfield tries to get it to him on those through balls, trying to catch your back line sleeping. This young back line that we've been talking about, I mean, obviously the addition of Pedro Molina helps a ton, but with this young back line who might make some mistakes, that's one that you have to look out for.
Thomas also adding David Iverson this year, freshman from Iceland, who scored 5 goals so far for them through the first 5 games of the season for them, coming off a hat trick in their last matchup. So this one underway now, Caden, as the Eagles will start with possession here, going from right to left, wearing the all-gray uniforms. And a little bit of miscommunication there between Mora and Duberjal leads to the first Thomas possession of this one.
One thing we can't put on the stat sheets that is going to play a big effect on this game is the bench. Normally, the benches are rising for this game after every little thing. We just heard it there with the Thomas. The ball goes out after a missed pass. Thomas is up in arms, so excited about getting possession.
And the Eagles regaining it here. They're going to slow this one down. I know we've talked about it here on the broadcast. This one, a missed pass into the middle, but Molina stepping up, gets tripped up there as he'll be Woodrow called for the foul, I believe. Coming over and giving Molina a little high five on that one. Some of these seniors played against each other since freshman year. A lot of this Eagles group some of the senior group out there for the Eagles have started a lot of games throughout their careers. So I'm finding Noguera here. Noguera trying to go up the left wing and find a Sorum, but that one just a little too far. But, Caden, you mentioned it's a very young Eagles back line this season for Husson. Obviously, last year had a lot of senior leadership out there, but that all kind of changed this offseason.
Yeah, and we saw it a lot in the start of the year, especially with Molina's injury in camp, where you really get those inexperienced players back there. But Woods and Blanco did a really great job at controlling what they can control. I mean, the only game that you can really circle that was bad from start to finish was the Bowdoin game, but those NESCAC schools are always a tough competition.
And I believe Bowdoin also ranked as well.
That's right. They ranked up to 16th now.
That's one I think the Eagles can write off a little bit on their season registry out there. This one passed all the way back to the goalkeeper. The Eagles so far have controlled possession in this one, just haven't really moved it up into the attacking zone at all. That's going to be a handball called there.
We see the Eagles do this a lot, too. They're trying to play through their wingers on the side. It's been the plan of attack these last couple of games. We'll see if they keep going to it in this one.
And Noguera just trying to flick that one on. This one sent up the field. There's that speed from Joseph, but DeWitt coming out off his line to clear that one. Not the best clearance, though, and that one's going to go out wide for a Thomas throw. That's what the Eagles need to watch out for, Caden.
Yeah, DeWitt does a good job coming off the line. He is a super aggressive out-of-the-box keeper. What I mean by that, as soon as he has that opportunity to win a 50-50 ball that a player might be able to run on, normally you see a keeper shy away, but DeWitt's the type of guy that comes out, plays that, and tries to win that.
And I think that could very much have gone into the decision-making from Coach Bermudez to put DeWitt out there. It's really been a not revolving door, but pretty much all the Husson keepers on this squad, which there's 4 of them, have gotten minutes on the season. Still trying to replace Rechsteiner a little bit. This one wide to Etcherworth. Nice little spin in the middle here. Could be a chance. Finding Mora out wide now to Duberjal. Ball back in. That one cleared off the line as Woodrow will catch it and pass it off to Joseph, who I think took a little too heavy of a touch on that one. And some nice passing here again from the Eagles. So another chance. Noguera in the middle. Header just wide. as he had a chance at that one, Caden.
Yeah, that was an absolutely insane pass. The Eagles working the sideline well. Noguera gets through on a face cut on the defender. Nice header, just poor placement out left.
And to Noguera's credit, he had Thomas defenders kind of all over him on that one. Still managed to get something on target.
Yeah, that was a great job just to get there, be a nice receptor to that pass. I mean, just obviously couldn't finish it, but it's a nice first opportunity in the first 5 minutes.
So now pushing it up the far side, that's Joseph Masamongo stepping in. The Eagles, I think, are going to have to double team him a little bit in this contest. He's just a little too fast to have one player kind of man marking him. I don't think the Eagles really have the speed out there to keep up with him. You'll see a lot of Molina and Masamongo kind of one plays high, one plays low. Finding Noguera back out to Blanco here. Eagles very calm on the defensive end here. This is Alvarez in the middle. Eagles definitely happy to have Alvarez back for this contest. He missed a few games near the middle part of the season.
Yeah, while he was out, Florian Gasser and Alejandro Mora did a great job stepping into those midfield roles. I think Mora was absolutely on a heater. I think he had 3 goals within the last 4 games. Just doing a great job being an essential part to this offense.
Yeah, this Eagles team, basically a 4-1-4-1. That one holding striker and then kind of a 4 midfield group out there.
I mean, we call Masamongo a midfielder, but he's been playing a lot of kind of that stopper position right in front of the back line, basically like a 5th defender out there, not rushing too much and just man marking on the striker.
Well, it allows the Eagles to push up from those wing-back positions with Duberjal and DeSorme and allow Masamongo to kind of drop back, make it a 3-back line. You can see right now the wing-back here on this left side, DeSorme pushed all the way up to that left corner. This one sent all the way up the field. It'll be Blanco fighting for it. It's going to head it, but that one a foul there called on Cody Robinson. Junior out of Warwick, Bermuda. This Thomas team trying to do their best carbon copy of the Eagles a little bit. All of a sudden, a lot of international players for them. You know, my first year broadcasting, they weren't nearly as internationally dynamic as they were. This roster is.
Yeah, you don't see the international with the women's team as much either, but even the women's Thomas team has a lot of out-of-staters. California, I believe they have 2 or 3 players from, which is a wild thing to think about. They're moving all the way across to the other side of the oceans.
That contest will take place directly after this one. I believe kicking off around 7:30. Alvarez fighting for this one. He's going to go all the way back. I know Alvarez, those games he missed, dealing with somewhat of a heel injury, so we'll see how that plays out today. As a missed pass here to Joseph, but a good step from Molina. We'll strip it away. Molina and Joseph have probably been fighting against each other for 3 or 4 years now up there on the offensive-defensive side.
Yeah, very familiar with each other, those two are. And it's always a fun matchup to see. Normally, I mean, both these teams get under each other's skins very easily. We'll see if both teams can keep their calm today and just focus on a good game.
This one a good chance. In the middle here, shot. That one, upper corner. As I believe that was Robinson who ripped that one in.
Yeah, just ball got loose in the middle there. Robinson gets his foot on it, goes top shelf. That's a tough stop for DeWitt in any sort of fashion because, I mean, that ball's coming off his foot 5 feet away from him. I mean, going top corner like that, that's a hard save to make. You can't let that opportunity happen. That's just an amazing goal for Thomas. Gets out to the early lead that they wanted.
And it was the captain, number 13, Cody Robinson, who seemed to be celebrating there. We'll see who the goal gets accredited to. At first, I thought it was 14 off of the foot, but I think it was 13 who got the goal. Kind of a little Thomas contingent over behind the Husson goal. So back underway here. And that was one that just kind of bounced straight to him and knew what just to do with it. I think a little bit unlucky there for DeWitt. Didn't really, like you said, kind of had no chance at it. That ball was in the back of the net before he really knew what was happening. And this one sent up the field, but taken away. This Thomas team plays a very kind of counter-attacking offense out there. A lot of speed, obviously. And that's going to be a dangerous play there as Masamongo catching the back of Woodrow there. I think just trying to win the ball. But Woodrow kind of falling down into his cleat.
Yeah, that's always a tough one. Good to see Woodrow get up, but it's always a tough play when both players are going at it like that. Mosamongo got his heel just a little bit up and caught him.
This one sent towards the back left post, bouncing around. Second shot here. DeWitt might have gotten a hand on that, and I think he did. That one gets punched wide. Not sure if that was on target. It looked close, but that was a great chance again for Thomas. So it'll be Joseph here to take the corner. Thomas having a little more height than the Eagles. This one whipped in front post, but knocked away by Molina. So that one bounced up. The one stat that really stood out for me from that last game against Thomas, the Eagles having 19-1 corner kicks in that contest. This one still bouncing around and now kicked out wide. That's a stat that can definitely lead to a lot of goals. Not necessarily always off of the corner kick, but it's kind of opportunities in the offensive end.
And we saw that a lot with that Bowdoin team as well. They're a team that forces a lot of corner kicks. They just shoot the ball at will, force the goalkeeper to make a save. 90% of the time he knocks it out for a corner. Ends up being good for them. I think a couple of their goals came off of deflections or poor clearances. Just madness in the box that they were able to capitalize on.
And counterattack chance here for the Eagles, but Fisher will fall right on top of that one. That was a good run up the right side there from Duberjal and Molina. You can see just how offensive this Eagles defensive group is. That's the center back and the right back making that offensive push up the field. Robinson using his size there against Blanco to kind of usher that one, but it's going to take a touch off of him. Storm going all the way back to Molina. Dangerous little pass there. And now back to DeWitt. So Molina now with the ball. Molina going middle here to Masamongo. Guerra and Blanco down here playing a little touch pass. The Eagles just trying to test this out. They've had a couple good kind of counter-attacking offensive chances, Kane, but we haven't really seen them kind of tic-tac it around the midfield like we're used to seeing.
Yeah, but Thomas is not pressuring them at all within this about 15 yards off the midfield line. They're just letting Husson set up, but they're doing a great job pushing on those 50-50 ball passes.
So Blanco overcommits on that one a little bit, and it'll be Masamongo who's eventually going to come all the way back and get it. And it will be Mora now on the far sideline. Like you said, the Eagles do have some space in the middle there. There's a lot of Thomas players, but not really pressing up the field. And the Eagles kind of take this opportunities up the middle. This one almost a good pass to Noguera out on the wing. A couple players on this Eagles bench who I wouldn't be surprised coming in this first half at some point. You know, Castellanos, Gasser, and Chamberlain have all played a lot of minutes this season. And Woodrow here fighting against Masamongo. Woodrow, a very talented kind of center attacking midfielder out there. One of the more technically gifted players for this Terriers squad. That was too hard of a pass to Alvarez. So far, Caden, the Eagles kind of keep testing the field, losing possession, and then kind of getting it right back.
Yeah, they're doing what I like to call seeing if the fire's hot. You're right, the fire's going, but you can't tell how to really go through it. They're doing a great job at just controlling what they can control right now, but they're not doing a great job at possessing and going forward with it. As soon as they try to pass off this back line into the striker position or midfield to the striker position, something's getting lost there. Either a pass is too weak where the defenders are catching it, or they're just losing the 50-50 balls, which is a great defensive scheme from Thomas as well. They're doing a great job reading that, giving them what they want to give them, and then attacking when they want to.
This Eagles team, like you said, just kind of testing him out a little bit. I think Coach Bermudez, first-year head coach here for the Eagles, definitely a very tactical coach. We've seen him make some good decisions kind of at halftime, switch up the tactics a little bit, and has led to some late second-half goals for the Eagles. So I think Husson right now just trying to figure out this Thomas defense a little bit. See if they start to kind of break it down a little bit as the contest continues. Or some hard contact there will draw the foul.
And it's kind of funny that Husson's coming out this way, because how we previewed it in the first 5 minutes before kickoff was, oh, they're going to come out flying. Both these teams are going to come out ready to go. But that hasn't been the case. It's been a really slow game. Both these teams are trying to figure each other out in this first meeting of the year.
This Terriers team, very young group out there on the defensive end. Couple different freshmen starting on the defense, including the goalkeeper as well. So we kind of talked about how young the Eagles team was out there on the defensive end. Terriers team, I think, might have them beat with that young group out there, but so far holding their own against this dangerous Eagles offense.
I'm interested to see what the Eagles do here. Moore has been out the last couple of games. So, I mean, obviously their free kicks haven't been as good because Moore is the main guy.
And it will be Alvarez here to take the corner kick. We've seen him definitely score. I believe he might have actually scored one against the Terriers last season during the regular season game at Husson from the corner. But I also might be mixing up those contests. The Eagles kind of doing this classic press in around the goalkeeper. Had referee coming in to just kind of clean some of that up a little bit. And I always kind of love these corner kicks because you see the most fouls you'll see any point during the whole contest.
Yeah, and this is the play we weren't seeing.
And that one a little low. Shot and score. We'll see who they gather around here, as I think it's Neto who gets the goal there for the Eagles. As it was Alvarez who put one right into the front post there. Might have taken a pass off of a different player. I think they'll have to watch. I think they'll have to watch the tape back for that one. I couldn't tell if it took a hit off of somebody else before Neto poked that one home.
It definitely took 1 to 2 hits. I'm not sure who got the final say on it. Mora was on the front post. He had the initial hit, but I think a Thomas leg got in there. I wasn't sure if it was an own goal or if Neto got the final touch on it. But again, that's what I was saying. When Alvarez is in the game, he's someone where they can run that play. That play has not been run since he was out. When he's in, they run that play quite constantly, and it normally pays off because it creates that commotion in the box. The defenders lose who they're supposed to guard because they're getting face cut. Someone's running around quite often, so they just lose who they're supposed to guard, and you end up getting like 2 Terriers on one guy, and that's how goals like that happen.
And Masamongo making the tactical foul there in the midfield. as the Eagles here trying to slow down this Terriers offense. Yeah, and it looked like kind of a broken play from the get-go, Keaton. I didn't think, usually Alvarez is trying to get that one high up into that scrum around the goalkeeper and just try to bend it in towards the goal. But that one kind of taken low and short, but worked out for the Eagles. Not sure if that's exactly what they were trying to do out there.
I mean, you kind of saw the Eagles stack the backside of the goalie, and then once you saw Alvarez with that line drive, more of just like a on the ground pass, you're kind of like, oh, this one's going nowhere. It's an easy clear out. But then all of a sudden, that one just pinballs around, and all of a sudden it's in the back of the net, and we're tied at 1.
That was a great clearance there from Molina. Looked like a chance for the Terriers over the top on that free kick, but Molina managing to send it up the field. So far, Duberjal doing his job to kind of stop these long crosses up towards Joseph on the left wing. Duberjal very good with his head out there. So far, has stopped most of the stuff trying to come in exactly like that. Yeah, that was a good step there from the Terriers, and Masamongo's going to win that header in the middle. Masamongo's got to be careful, I think, in that midfield. He's had a couple kind of borderline fouls out there so far in this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes hard on the next foul. The man in the middle might show something, being that a yellow card, because, I mean, Thomas coach is up in arms about it already, about he wanted one on the first one. I can't imagine his opinion on the second.
And that's going to be a yellow card, I believe, given out to David Iverson. Looked like he had a collision with the Storm down here on this near sideline right in front of the Terriers bench. Not sure if both of them got yellow cards or just Iverson.
Yeah, those two battling it out down the sideline, way away from the play. Refs called a stop to it to give the card. I believe just the card went to Iverson due to the Thomas coach's reaction.
It looked like Coach Bermudez was kind of having a conference down here with the sideline referee, trying to figure out what the call was on that one.
I think Bermudez was more upset that they stopped the play. He thought they had a good play going down the sideline.
So this one already getting a little bit tense, Caden, just 20 minutes into the contest. And got another 70 to play so far. So hopefully this one can be kept under control.
If it stays tight like this down to the last 10 minutes, we're going to see this rise.
A little fake play on that one. Now ball towards the back post. Couple chances. Offsides flag goes up, though. As Blanco goes down, might have collided with the keeper. I believe that's Blanco down there. It's almost a great play there from the Eagles, a little kind of fake cross, and then the second chance in.
Yeah, it was a great play by the Terriers to read that, react to it, bring up their line to catch the Eagles offside, knowing that run is coming. It's good to see Blanco get up under his own power, but Fisher is getting talking to from both Blanco and the referee.
Well, we mentioned how young this Terriers defensive back group is. It's definitely a sign of kind of some young leadership out there to be able to move up the field that quickly. I see all the numbers out there for them. Pretty sure they got, I want to say they have a full freshman group out there on the back line. All their senior group are out on the offensive end. Pretty sure all four defenders and the CDM and the goalkeeper are all freshmen. Not something you see all the time, Caden.
No, and normally we thought that was going to be that way with the Eagles this year, but thankful for some Pedro Molina coming back, Masamongo coming back. It's hard to have an all-freshman group come in. They're not adjusted to that Division III level of play yet. but to see them be or react at least pretty good so far, these last couple of opportunities, that free kick especially where they were able to push up, force the Eagles to be offside, get the ball back from a whistle, that shows a good shine of coaching and a good scheme.
It'll be Cole Washburn and Harry Clough coming out there. God, we just had that conversation. Washburn coming into that defensive end as a junior. So now they have at least a little bit of upperclassmen out there, but this freshman group so far playing pretty well against this Eagles squad. Just want to ball up over the top. Won't go too far.
And that's a scary sign for the rest of the NAC. If you have a defensive line, all freshmen playing that well, then you know you're going to have a long 4 years ahead of you.
Well, and then Iverson here out on this right wing position, presumably kind of the heir apparent to Joshua Joseph as well on the offensive end. I believe Mickey Woodrow still having a season left under his belt. This Thomas team definitely has the makings of being a squad that will be good next season as well. Obviously, this Eagles team has a lot of young players out there as well. And this one, a ball towards the right wing. Iverson offsides on that one. Blanco kind of got cut to the ball there by Clough. Obviously, fresh legs off the bench for the Terriers. We'll see when Coach Bermudez starts to open up some of the defensive side. It looks like that's Castellanos and Sear potentially warming up down on the sideline for the Eagles. I would think Castellanos would probably go in for Noguera and Sear in for Neto potentially. Blanco trying to find DeSorm. DeSorm's going to keep it in play, and that one's going to get slid out wide, but it will be a throw in here for the Eagles in a dangerous position. Go in quickly here to Alvarez. Going back to him, ball back in towards the box, headed clear. Etcheworth still there. Neto tried a little bit of circuitry on that one. And Alvarez managing to just poke that one clear to Molina now. The Eagles having a reset all the way back to the goalkeeper, but they did keep possession here. And now a chance, a lot of space here in front of Blanco. Going to try to go out wide to Noguera, trying to go through a couple players, manages to get there, might have a shooting chance here, but gets dragged down right on the edge of the box. And referee Charlie Brown putting the spot of the ball probably 6 inches off of that 18-yard line.
Yeah, he was a toenail away from probably being able to get a PK out of this, but, I mean, the Eagles are loving this sideline matchup so far. They are attacking both the sidelines plenty. And they're getting great opportunities from it.
And we mentioned how they were testing for the first 20 minutes of that contest. Weren't really finding anything. But I think a few adjustments made, and now kind of trying to go up the wings and then feed it into the middle rather than go up the middle and try to find those chances.
And that's important because the two subs we talked about are two people who play those wings and play them well. Two great goal scorers. Castellanos is just a bull once he gets in there. He'll just bully the back line.
So it'll be Morris standing over this one. He's going to take a shot at it. Allen takes a hit off of Woodrow in that line, so he'll be out for a corner kick. That looked like it was on target if it hadn't made that connection.
Yeah, that was a great low drive. He read the jump well, just off the kneecap of the wall. But now you get a second opportunity here with the corner.
So Eagles trying something a little bit different here. As I say that, everybody moves in right around the goalkeeper. So referee coming down here to talk to Mora down in the corner. I think Mora might have moved the flag out of the way potentially a little bit to get a better angle at the ball. And this one is going to get sent in towards the front post, headed away though. Good job defensively there from Thomas. As now counterattack chance there, but too strong of a touch from Clough. This one,
Wow.
Fisher managed, I don't think that was on target, but Fisher, I think, kind of losing track of where the goal was a little bit. I think he could have just let that one go over his head and out of play, but
What was crazy about that one is DeSorme barely got a touch on it. He just sent it a mile into the sky. Fisher almost struggled to catch that one. It wasn't on net, but if he deflected that the right way, that could have easily gone in.
I think the Eagles still kind of up on the offensive end, too. If that one had taken a friendly bounce, could have been a second chance opportunity there. Alvarez is going to try to head this one up the field, as Masamongo is going to be the one who's just going to clear it. Neto here trying to run up the field. He's going to lose his footing here, but still a chance. And good calm play there from number 33 in Isaiah Francis. Another offsides call here.
The Witt is so aggressive off his box. I mean, that's not normally something you see a goalkeeper do, but he is so confident in his ability to get to that ball first. It's a real special trait to be able to come out and be that confident, knowing you can get, I mean, when you're a goalkeeper, you're so confident in your hands, not as much as your feet. So when he gets out there, I mean, he has to use his feet. He does a great job. He has great confidence to play that ball.
I wonder if he got a phone call from Rechtsteiner at the start of the season with some advice out there. And that was Iverson, who didn't really get much on that one, but did take a touch off the Eagles. And I think it's important for DeWitt to be aggressive in this one. You have such fast attackers here for Thomas that you can't really afford to let that ball roll all the way to you. And just the way this Terriers team attacks, too. They like to kind of push stuff up through the middle. And Alvarez trying to keep that one in play. Curve it up the line, but nothing there. So the Terriers playing this one up the right wing again. And that one will be out for a goal kick. The first of the game, potentially, for the Eagles. So there will come those substitutions. It's almost like we watch a little bit of Husson soccer, Caden, as it will be Neto and Noguera coming off here. So fresh legs now on this left wing position. And obviously the striker. It's where the Eagles have been attacking a lot so far in this one. And setting up to do just that again. Terriers trying to pinch Husson down in the corner, though. But the Eagles doing a good job of switching it. They're going to try to bring it up the right side. Etcheworth's cutting it back in the middle. As Woodrow, I think, losing his footing a little bit, trying to get to that ball.
Yeah, that one was just one of those awkward ones where Etcheworth was going for the cut, Woodrow was going for the tackle, and just crossed up on each other.
And somehow that worked out for Alvarez, as this one's going to be a chance now on the left wing to Sorm into the middle, as that was Sear who almost had a chance at it. But Castellanos with it now. It's going to be a foul on drawn by Castellanos. That was Everroy Spence on the foul. So another chance here for the Eagles in a dangerous spot. It's going to be Alvarez to take this one. Eagles lining up with 3 or 4 players on the kind of far right side. Alvarez, good ball towards the back. That one headed up straight, though. Still a chance for Husson. Molina getting on it. Going to try to cut up through the middle, poked away. Good step there from Duberjal to just slow down that attack. And it'll be Alvarez going against Iverson here. Iverson, nice bit of touch there to poke that one, but Masamongo tracking back on the defensive end. That one's going to curve its way back inside. Sear gets the angle on him down there. And we'll take 2 strong. Well, I think that's going to be out for a goal kick, actually. Looked like Sear almost got around on it.
Yeah, Sear going straight to the baseline on that after that long ball up. I think the better play there might have been dumping it off to Castellanos, trying to force a run to the back post for the offside winger.
And I think if Masamango could have just poked that one a little softer, Sear might have had a chance. I think Sear used to a little bit different style of soccer potentially, as it looks like a Terriers player down here. I think from that collision with either Masamango or Sear. But as I was just saying, I think Sear used to a little bit more of kind of traditional American style of soccer, kind of that big aggressive center forward gets the ball, kind of takes the shot. A lot of this Eagles team used to a little bit more of that kind of European ticky-tack style out there of passing those little technical passes that you wouldn't always see, I think, at the Maine high school level.
And both absolutely work, but it's the problem of getting them to work together that might create a little bit of a problem sometimes. I mean, Sear is a great player. All these players are very good in their own right, but sometimes you just got to play the system that Bermudez wants. Now, I don't know what that system is once you get up near the goal like that, but Sear is obviously a poacher when it comes to goal scoring. Just amazing job. We saw that the stats from Southern Maine. He just scores a lot of goals and scores them in bunches.
Yeah, season ago for SMCC. Sear scoring 16 goals. This one a long ball. I don't think DeSorme is going to kick that one off of the defender. He'll be out for a goal kick. So substitutions coming in here. As be a couple subs coming in here for Thomas. Peyton Mitchell, freshman out of Freeman Township, Maine, coming into that midfield role. And another player coming into the midfield in Andrew Hodgins. The Terriers so far using a few more substitutions. Good slide in there from DeSorme. This one poked around. It's going to find its way straight to Duberjal. It's going to go back out wide to DeWitt. Now finding Blanco. Blanco up the middle to Masamango. Good passing here from the Eagles, and just miscommunication there between Alvarez and Sear. I think Sear trying to go to this left corner. Alvarez trying to fit him towards the right side. I think honestly not a bad run from Sear. There was a lot of space over there. Just Alvarez didn't really have time to control it. Sear trying to cut this one back. Fighting for it down on the left side. And it's going to bounce to Masamango. As dangerous pass into the middle there from Molina. Sometimes the Eagles a little too lackadaisical with it, I think, on the defensive end. As that will be Molina receiving the yellow card.
Yeah, that's one of those technical fouls that you talk about a lot, Avery. I mean, Molina gets tripped up on his own feet out there by the yellow line, and then 2-on-0 the other way. He has to do something there, so he just makes the foul, stops the play. Now let's see if Husson can recover here on this free kick.
And Molina's not someone I think the Eagles like to have on a yellow card.
Especially if this game stays chippy throughout, because he's someone who's going to elevate his game with the chippiness.
I think Molina's actually done a lot better this season at kind of keeping his head a little bit. I think it's seasons past, as that was a good chance from, I believe, number 32 in Adam Elcott. As it'll be Gasser coming in to replace. As Gasser will replace Alvarez. I think still a little bit on some minutes limitation from that ankle injury. But seasons past, Molina was someone who definitely got a little bit hot-headed out on the field out there. Gasser gets laid out. Good 3 seconds into the contest. And he's going to lay the shoulder right back into him. As Gasser wasting no time out there. Him and Spence, a couple big contacts down there.
Yeah, that's called coming on the field ready to play for the rivalry game right there.
Definitely a little bit of a reactionary foul, I think, from Gasser. Kind of got hip checked just after coming out on the field.
I'm very surprised it wasn't a card.
Definitely sort of making a play towards the ball, but pretty much all body and no ball. So head coach Kyle Fletcher and head referee having a little conversation. Fletcher, I believe, in his 4th season here for the Terriers. Has really done a lot, like we mentioned, with the recruiting classes here for Thomas. Brought in a lot of international players. This one, a great ball in towards the front of the 18. Knocked around. Joseph's going to try to take a shot. And still alive here. Duberjal is going to just poke it out wide. That was almost a great chance for the Terriers. Looks like Duberjal got kind of cleaned out off the end line.
Yeah, he definitely got worse of that 50-50 ball, but he made the best play out of it, just getting it out actually across the goal line first. But if it didn't, he did a great job just getting it out, letting the Eagles reset.
Castellanos trying to find a great ball in towards Gasser. Gasser just missed the touch a little bit. Gasser's definitely playing a little bit of a different position than I think he's played in seasons past. As an opportunity here for the Eagles. Etcheverse on the ball. Always dangerous with the ball at his feet. We'll find more at the top of the 18. Trying to go back to Etcheverse. And it's going to be Fisher who's going to come down and fall on it. But Gasser in seasons past, I think, playing a little bit more of, obviously, I think he's playing kind of an attacking midfield role, but this is where Molina needs to keep his cool a little bit.
Yeah, Joseph did a good job initiating the contact on his own right.
Definitely drew that foul a little bit. There was contact there between him and Molina.
And that's how we know him. I mean, that's how they're going to play. Once you're on a yellow card and they know you're a hot-headed man like Molina is, I mean, these last 4 years, Thomas has seen a lot of Molina and I've seen a lot of him in the card book as well. So once he know he's on a card, he gets even more fired up. So that's a great job by Joseph initiating the contact. Maybe you get something, maybe you don't, but either way, you're going to get a free kick.
And Molina and Joseph have been going at it all contest so far. So a dangerous spot here. It's not really a good angle to put something on target. But more something towards that back post. Another great ball in. And that one back of the net. I believe that's 14 in Iverson. As that one bounced around up in the box right around the 6, and I think that was Iverson getting his 6th of the season. Not sure if that was Iverson or 18 potentially. We'll see who they credit that one to. I know I saw at least a 1 follow. It was one of the team numbers.
Yeah, it gets really complicated once you get in there in that 6 area where it's just body on body. But, I mean, that foul turned out to be something very important as now Terriers go up in the final 10 minutes of the first half.
So it will indeed be Iverson credited with the goal. So off of the foul there on Joseph, they had a great chance there. Another good ball put into the box. Wood to that one. So Woodrow's going to come off here for number 23 in Craig Coventry. And this one popped up into the air. And offsides called again. That one on Iverson. Surprised they haven't blown the whistle on that one. As they're not going to call that one, actually. An interesting no call on that one. Usually you always see offsides get called.
Yeah, that was a very weird one. You saw the flag go up. I figured it was for offsides. That looked like to be what the signal was for, but man in the middle didn't see it, so it didn't get called.
Lena trying to find Sear there. As this midfield's definitely, I think, missing Alvarez out there a little bit. Gasser, hard hit there on that one. That's 29 again in Spencer. Or Spence, that is. Taken quickly. Duberjall finding Etcheverse now. Etcheverse always fun to watch with the ball at his feet. Eagles midfield used to have him along with Miguel Morales out there. Two players who just kind of, it seems like they were born with the ball in their foot. Definitely spend a lot of time off the field, I think. A good step there from Duberjall to poke that one away. Masamongo, good strength out there against Joseph. He lays him out. Now Masamongo on the offensive end. We've seen him be a little bit more aggressive offensively this season, but Sear not managing to get off of his mark so far. Since coming in, Sear's just struggled, I think, a little bit on that offensive end.
Yeah, it's just one of those days where he's not on the same page right now as the people trying to feed him the ball. I mean, we've seen it a couple times, and I don't think he's necessarily making the wrong read. I just think from what the man playing the ball to him is seeing is different than what he thinks they're seeing. For example, when Mario was trying to give him the ball, Mario had the defender in front of him. Mario can only go to the right, but Carson Sear sees all this space to the left, so he goes left. Now that's something you got to talk about with the players once they get inside the huddle. Hey, you got to see what they're seeing. But I think it's something that can be easily fixed. I mean, they're just not reading the same side of the field.
So a couple substitutions here for the Eagles. There'll be Chamberlain and Morato coming in. Looks like Molina will exit. Duberjall will push to that center back position, and Chamberlain will assume guarding Joseph a little bit. Two of them on that right side have kind of been both protecting that position a little bit. Iverson also coming off for the Terriers as Zion Clow coming out. So it'll be a throw in here for the Terriers. This one sent into the middle, trying to fight for it. As that one flicked back on by Hodgins.
Light rain starting to fall now. That's going to play a huge effect here in the second half after the 10 minutes of it just starting to pour on the field.
Good move there from Morato. Looks like he's finally lost that brace he had on his arm from the preseason. And smart defensive play there from number 20 out there in Gjartensen. He headed that one back to the goalkeeper. Obviously, that allows them to pick it back up. So Chamberlain and Joseph fighting for it down here. Joseph is going to win that ball. Joseph players in the middle. Players all coming around for the Eagles. This one sent right back. Dangerous ball, but I think it went too long for the goal kick. That was a good ball, though, from Joseph if someone had been there. It's like Alvarez trying to stay loose down there on the sideline. I think he'll be back in for the second half. Just a minute left here in this first one. So Mora out wide now as he tried to fit that one into Gasser. So ends up disconnect, I think, between the midfield and the offense here in this last 15 minutes. Gasser, player on his back. Wasn't really warned by his teammates out there. Blanco trying to fit it into Castellanos. Another ball up over the top. About 30 seconds now in the first half. Eagles want to try to get one more on the board. They're going to have to move it up quickly. And it's going to be Chamberlain who's going to step to it. Could have almost been a dangerous ball call on that one. So one final chance potentially for the Terriers. That one cleared wide. That should just about do it here in this first half. I think the Terriers all too concerned about getting this one in. Right now, Thomas up 2-1, Caden, having the advantage here early.
Yeah, we've seen a great game played from both teams. I think both teams are in the same spot in their season, to say. But I think Husson's just struggling a little bit more with the opportunities that Thomas has given them. Thomas has done a great job forcing that ball in, making the defense play defense, not just possess the ball and put it up, but actually mark your man, actually clear the ball. Thomas is doing a great job winning those battles against the Husson back line.
And Caden, what do you think the Eagles might need to do here going into the second half to kind of try to flip the script in this contest a little bit?
I think it's all about what is said in the huddle. I think there's a lot of things that has to be done. I think midfield has to make a switch. I think they're trying a little bit too hard to play the system game too much. They're not seeing what's in front of them. I think after that first goal, you kind of saw it where Thomas started defending their lines a little bit more, realizing, oh, they're trying to attack us down these wings. Let's get more guys to the wings. Husson didn't adjust quickly to that enough, and now the midfield's opened up a ton for him.
So that will about just do it for us here for this first half of action. We'll be back in about 14 minutes here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. I'm Avery Henningsen alongside Cade Trenowith. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back here to the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Avery Henningsen alongside Caden Trenoth here. Right now, the Terriers leading the Eagles 2-1. As we saw goals from Cody Robinson and David Iverson for the Terriers, along with a goal from Josh Neto for the Eagles.
Yeah, it's been a very evenly matched game so far. I mean, really only 3 mistakes aside, and it would be 0-0. I mean, both teams have capitalized on the mistakes the other team has made, and that's why we're at a 2-1 at the start of the second half right now.
The Eagles outpossessing Thomas in that one, 57-43, so pretty even in that regard. I think the Eagles definitely having some more of the offensive chances, but that's also just kind of how this Terriers team plays. Very counterattacking squad. So the Terriers will start with it here. Trying the same strategy of just trying to send ball in towards the box. That one, I think, misangled a little bit. But Joseph kind of creeping up over the over the midline even before that whistle was blown. Eagles coming out with kind of a mix of what they had at the end of the half and what they started the contest with. As Molina and Alvarez will head back out there, along with, I think that's just those two are the two that came out. Will be a corner kick here for the Terriers. They've had more of these, about the same between the two teams so far.
Yeah, we've seen both teams capitalize on their free kick opportunities.
That one bounced down right in front of the goal. That was a golden chance there for Thomas. I think that was Robinson potentially again.
Yeah, Robinson, I mean, nobody on him. There is no defense being played on him. He was able to get down, bend his knees a little bit, and then get the head through. I mean, that is just bad defense on the Eagles side. And a great find from Joseph in the corner.
I think Robinson might have a little bit more physical than anybody else for the Eagles. As they're going to call the foul back around midfield here. Blanco trying to fit it into Gasser. And Molina rising up and winning that header, but it's going to stream out wide. The Terriers holding on to possession here down in front of the press box. This one sent in. It's going to be won first by Chamberlain and eventually kicked forward. So it'll be another foul here against the Terriers. So now the Eagles trying to test out this left side. We saw them have a lot of success on that left flank in the first half.
Yeah, but Thomas did a great job adjusting to it, and you kind of saw it there. Now they're double teaming high pressure as soon as someone gets it on the wing. They're not giving them that anymore. The Eagles have to adjust.
This one's going to get sent up the field towards Gasser. Gasser managing to poke it on. And it's going to just get passed all the way back to Fisher here. And this one up high. Good step there from Chamberlain, but knocked back into the middle. Alvarez wins the header. Still bouncing around. And it's going to eventually get sent up towards Robinson. And the foul's going to get called there on Blanco. I think trying to out-physical Robinson, but Robinson just a little more height and strength out there.
Yeah, that's a tough play to make. If you're Molina, you won't get punished for it, but when you're on that yellow card, I mean, Chamberlain and Joseph are already on the 1v1. Molina comes over, third party, and kind of hip checks Joseph. I mean, that's a real tough look. It's going to get harder to defend those as the game goes on in terms of defending yourself against another card.
So it'll be another free kick opportunity here for the Terriers. They've done well off of these. This is about where they scored that second goal from, obviously on the other end of the field. This one sent in. DeWitt's going to come up and punch that one clear. Whistle, and we're going to have a penalty kick upcoming here, Caden. The chance for the Terriers to go up 3-1 on Husson.
Yeah, I completely missed it, but all of Husson's up in arms. Bermuda is talking to the side referee, letting him have it. DeWitt's going to step out of the box and get ready here. This is a tough break. Well, a good break if you're Thomas, a tough break for the Eagles.
So it'll be Woodrow to take this one for DeWitt, or against DeWitt here. So I think a little bit of infighting here down on the goal line.
Yeah, just
edge of the 18.
Just that under the skin stuff that you see in these in-conference rivalry games, that just try to get under the opponent's skin, just try to get something to go your way by making the opponent mad.
Freshman going up against the senior down there on the end line. I think the beef between Husson and Thomas runs deep. Woodrow, bottom corner, he buries it, and that will make it 3-1 for the Terriers. As Robinson kind of colliding with Chamberlain off camera, I think, down there. So celebration down in the corner here for the Terriers. This one definitely starting to heat up a little bit, Caden.
Yeah, and I think Husson's more mad than Thomas is. I think Thomas is just laughing about it. I think Thomas is just doing a great job getting under the skin. Husson's doing a bad job reacting to it, and that's not what you want to happen if you're down in this game. It's going to be tough to come back when you're this fired up, and hopefully they use that as motivation on the other end of the pitch and not as motivation to take out their opponent receiving cards.
Well, it's a lot harder to laugh when you're that team losing the contest. Obviously, it's a lot easier when you're the team up in the contest to kind of be a little bit smug after scoring a goal. So Etcheverse will depart for Neto. The Eagles potentially maybe switching some things up on the offensive end, now down 2. Obviously, this is a big conference game. This isn't one of those ones where you can kind of afford that if you're down in the game, it's not really that big of a deal considering it's out of conference. This is probably the team the Eagles are going to be fighting with at the end of the season for that number 1 seed and potential hosting rights for the North Atlantic Conference East Finals. That one will go off of Chamberlain. So far, the Terriers on the season 2-0 in conference play, beating Farmington and Maine Maritime. The other 2 teams in that kind of bid for the 2 teams along with the Eagles and Thomas who are in that grouping for potential playoff situations. I think that was Molina again.
Both benches are absolutely fired up right now. They're mad at each other. Both the coach benches are going at it.
Yeah, we kind of preluded this game by saying there's kind of a lot of there's a lot of beef between these two teams heading into this contest, even before anything that happens out on the field. A lot of history between these two schools even. I think Thomas and Husson, probably one of the biggest rivalries in the North Atlantic Conference. Recent years, Farmington's kind of pressed into that talk as well.
Yeah, especially Farmington was a great team last year. Pretty sure they're in to come back again this year. They were firing on all cylinders last year. A great defensive unit and a great freshman striker class, if I remember right.
Yeah, and I believe graduating most of that defensive unit would be the one that kind of hit on them. Terriers scoring in the 80th minute to win their game 2-1 over Farmington. So obviously a very close matchup between those two. So just trying to settle down both these teams. I think you get into some problems, especially or when the coaching staffs kind of start interjecting out there on the field. They're usually meant to be the ones who are calming the players down.
I mean, it goes to show you how fired up these teams get when both the coaches are getting fired up. Both the coaching staffs, that is, just as fired up as the guys on the pitch.
And finally getting underway. This one put in right on target there from Joseph. This one's going to get sent back out to him. Good ball. The Eagles not covering it. Joseph ball back in. Another chance. Trying to cut it back, but Molina will step there. Castellanos trying to get it up the wing to Mora. He's going to cut it inside. Joseph coming all the way back to make a great defensive play out there. But a nice header from Morato trying to find Gasser. Alvarez fitting it into Sear. Chance now for the Eagles. Sear too hard on the pass, though, as he was trying to find Mora. And Chamberlain's going to head that one out of bounds. So Molina's got to be careful going up against Joseph here. We've seen Joseph already in this one kind of try to draw a few fouls on Molina. And Neto, I think, catching a piece of the cleat there from the defender. That's 32 again in Elcott. We've seen him have a couple strong tackles down in the midfield. I'm going all the way out wide. Blanco, though, missing the trap on it. He's going to keep it in play, though, but kind of nipping that counterattack in the bud. It's wasting a few seconds out there, which right now doesn't seem that important, but as this game goes on, every second will matter. The Eagles very much in this one still. But one more goal from Thomas, I think, would put the Eagles in a position where they're kind of just a little too far back in this contest.
Yeah, next goal really decides the outcome of this game. I feel like you either get one goal closer and you push harder, or you get one goal further away, and then you have to start thinking, all right, let's start saving some of our guys for the next one.
And that one, a foul there. That was Elcott again, this time against Morato. See the Terriers man marking all of the Eagles' defense or offense here. Eagles sending a few players up on the offensive end now. Pretty much everybody up besides Alvarez and Molina. Alvarez ball in towards the box. Sears kind of there, and he collides with the goalkeeper on that one. Fisher goes down hard, but will hold on to the ball. It's wasting some time here. This is a live ball down on the field. Terriers trying to move it back up the other end of the field. And this one flicked on. Could be a chance here for Joseph. We know how fast he is. Trying to cut it back through and scores. Joshua Joseph, reigning player of the year, puts the Terriers up 3.
Yeah, that's just a misplay by Mario in the middle. And then Joseph capitalizes on the other end, just goes solo 1v2. Gets Chamberlain in kind of a blender there. Tucks it into the side corner. We said the next one was going to be a big one. It is going to be hard to score even 3 goals to make this a tie in the next 35 minutes. Though it is very possible.
That's a tough one there for Chamberlain. I think caught kind of on his back heel a little bit. Obviously, Joseph's so fast. You're trying to cover when he cuts to the right like that. If you don't commit to that, he's just going to blow right by you. But Joseph, I think, has really gotten better every season for the Terriers. I know when he first came in, he was kind of really just a speed guy, but has now kind of added a little bit more of that dribbling finesse out there.
Yeah, but that play truly started off the free kick. Alvarez goes up for it and then falls down. Looks like he kind of gets maybe a little bit pulled down, but either way, he starts falling down. His head makes contact, and it's just a perfect, picture-perfect through ball for Joseph to go in on.
Now the Eagles right now breaking down a little bit. Again, Joseph in towards goal. That one a hard tackle. That could be a card. And another goal here for the Terriers. I think that was Iverson potentially out on the right wing. The Eagles putting Masamago back in, but it might be a little too late.
Yeah, we said 3 was going to be hard. 4 is going to be way harder. I mean, the Eagles have just fallen apart. This is kind of what we saw in the Bowdoin game at the start of it. I mean, now they're doing it to start the half. They've just completely fallen apart, gotten completely lost in their own heads, in their own mind games. Thomas has done a great job putting that pressure on in their head, making them think about every little thing they do. And now all of a sudden what seemed to be a very close game is completely one-sided for the Terriers.
Mora and Masamago trying to get the team back. Trying to get the team back on track a little bit. Joseph's sitting down over in the Eagles' 18-yard line area. Saw that hard tackle between him and Blanca. There was no call there on that one that led to the goal. But the Eagles, though, had kind of another play up here in this midfield, kind of right in front of where we're sitting, to the right side of midfield here. That was just kind of overcommitting out on the defensive end that led to having these speedy. You can't allow this Thomas team to get in behind you. Once they're in behind you, you're not going to be able to keep up with them out there. They just have a little too much speed. And the Eagles made that mistake twice there in just a few minutes.
It's a tough coaching decision to make when you're playing one of these fast counterattacking teams because, I mean, you're down 3 goals. You have to play offense. You have to think offense. But it's so hard to do that when you're facing a team that relies on the counterattack. They want you to play more offense, so then that way they can come back at you and then score a goal very easily. And that's what we saw there on that last one.
And this one broke down pretty quickly, Caden. All of a sudden, this has become a little bit ugly for this Eagles team that has really had their way with the Terriers on this field the last few seasons. And I think this could get a little bit ugly as well, Caden.
Yeah.
Eagles down 4, kind of are losing something to play for in this one. Obviously, a lot of kind of year-to-year frustration between these two teams. The Terriers finally kind of getting their chance to distribute it back out to Husson after taking it for years.
And you have to think, it's been since 2019 this Terriers team has won a game against Husson. I mean, there's been some ties in there, but most of it has been wins for this Husson side. And that is just, think about the seniors. They've never won against a team, a single Eagles team. So it is so difficult for them to, like, even them to control their emotions because they're so amped up right now, knowing that they're 33 minutes away from very potentially being the first team in 5 years to win a game against this side.
And right now, not just win it, Caden, but kind of dominate this Eagles squad.
And it puts you on the map, too, because this Eagles team, year after year, is ranked #1 in the NAC, especially in the NAC East, right? So if you come out here in the first NAC game, well, second game, but statement 5-1 win, that is huge. That puts you on notice for the rest of the league. Don't take an off day against these guys.
Well, it also, I think, plays some roles later in the season as well in terms of tiebreakers. Obviously, there will be another contest between these two teams. If the Eagles were to win that one, it would come down to some of that goal differential against conference opponents and against each other. And right now, the Terriers, as that one kicked right off of the head of Gasser, who was sitting down on the floor. I'm not sure if that was intentional there, but getting the card there, that was Francis, who Gasser kind of got tackled. I think Francis, obviously we don't know his intentions down there, but it looked like he was just trying to kick it out of play and instead kind of kicked it right off of Gasser's skull there. That will definitely not help tensions down there on the field.
I'm not sure what the card was for. The card definitely, I believe there was a card given, but I wasn't sure if it was for the original tackle.
I think it was for the second play because the referee didn't reach for his pocket at all. This one towards the back post. Another chance. Fisher rising up and punching that one clear. Chamberlain's going to have to get there. He's going to send it out wide to Morato. But the referee didn't reach for his pocket at all prior to that ball being kicked straight into Gasser. And then as soon as that play happened, he reached for it. So I'm going to assume it was for that play, even no matter how intentional it was, it still resulted in as no foul called on that one. So Woodrow going out wide. Thomas, another chance here. This one in. That one home. That was Iverson again. And Molina gets red carded on the same play. So bad goes to worse, Keaton, as Thomas is running away with this one.
Yeah, and they're definitely feeling it now. You can see it. Everything they're doing, they're so amped, going to the fans every single time, waving goodbye to Molina, jumping up at every second they can, back talking as much as they can. I mean, this is years of built up, losing and losing and losing, and now you're finally turning the tide, and you're turning the tide in a massive way. It has just been just a roller coaster of emotions for them, for a team that hasn't had much success against this other side in so long. They're doing just an amazing job, as a yellow card given to the Thomas bench. As it's just control your emotions now. I mean, we see Molina off. Now you're down to 10 men. You know this is going to get worse. Don't make it worse on yourself for future games.
Another 30 minutes left in this contest. The Terriers putting up a big number on the Eagles right now. And who would have thought this game coming into this contest? We were talking about this one being a close, tight game, and it really was for the first 35, 40 minutes. Terriers making it 2-1 close to the end of the half, scoring another goal late in that one. But now all of a sudden, it's become a big, big lead here for the Terriers.
And you got 32 minutes down 10 men, and you know this Terriers team is just going to keep pounding it. They're not going to let up, right? I mean, nothing in them has any reason for stopping, even if they consider it. The NAC tiebreaker comes down to goals scored or goals against, right? So there's no reason for them to stop.
So the Eagles here with possession. They're going to have to try to settle their emotions down a little bit. Head referee, I think, here given a tough game to try to control a little bit. Obviously, you can start handing out cards, but sometimes that just makes it worse out there, especially in as much of a beatdown as this one has been. That'll be Isaac Grandstrom coming out. He's someone who started a lot last season for this Terriers team. So far on the year, only coming off the bench. And this is not the first game that this Eagles team have had to play the Terriers down a man. As the Terriers continuing to just try to get under the Eagles' skin here. But I know Husson has had a couple, obviously that end of the regular season game last year, saw the Infante red card. Eagles continue to try to play this one slowly, but not taking the time to kind of put the ball back where it's supposed to be. And Mora with the ball here at the top of the 18, coming in fast though. And fighting for it still in the midfield here. This one's going to go too far out for a throw in. And Alvarez trying to poke that one away in the middle, as Noguera is going to slide in and win that one. It's going to go all the way back to Fisher. So really, Caden, this has been, obviously you have the Bowdoin game, but that's against a ranked opponent for the Eagles. This has been the first game so far of this young season that the Eagles have really just been looking out of sorts kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
So you had that first goal, but since then, hasn't really been a whole lot of chances on Fisher.
And it's kind of hard to say why, because I don't even think I know why. I mean, it's been the only real reason you can guess is maybe under the new platoon of Coach Bermudez, it's like a little out of sorts when emotions get high. But Coach Bermudez has done a great job so far this season with his players, but just for some reason, just something didn't click right today. And it's hard to really say what that was. I feel like the first half was so good. The second half, just you couldn't cool the emotions enough, and it just got away from you all of a sudden, right? Because we're only 15 minutes in, and we have 4 goals scored for Thomas already in the second half.
And a red card all of a sudden for the Eagles, which is going to just make another chance on goal there. I think that one got cleared off the front line by Husson. Ball back in, but DeWitt will fall on it. And DeWitt trying to push this one up the field. But Burgess, who just entered the game, will come in and thigh that one back up towards the offense. And Mora winning this one in the middle now. And I don't even think you can put any, kind of undue blame on really anybody out there for the Eagles. It's just kind of been an overall team kind of just not full connection out there. Trying to be a little too tricky with it now. Chance for the Eagles. Mora trying to go out wide to Neto, but not managing to keep control of it. And DeWitt just going to kick this one wide. So
I think it's that time for, if you're Coach Bermudez, just kind of unload the bench a little bit, right? Just try something. These guys that have been out there pretty much the whole game have been tempers high. Just throw out a new little unit, see what happens, see what clicks. Maybe you can bring it into this next weekend.
Yeah, and the Eagles will take on Umpy next Tuesday, along with a big game against Farmington on this coming Friday.
I believe that game on Tuesday, or that next game against Umpy home, is going to be a big one for me and you, if I remember right. That's going to be a big broadcast one.
Yeah, Husson this year making some changes with the communications program. There's going to be a few more kind of live broadcast type ones, a little bit bigger production than just the two of us up here, kind of running the computer and camera ourselves. A little bit more kind of professional level. We get to dress all up in suits for that contest. Something we usually save for a little bit later in the season.
Yeah, the parents might actually get to see what we look like too, depending what they do with the cameras. I'm not sure.
I know the last time they had a NESCOM broadcast up here was a little bit too tight of a space necessarily to have. I think usually they would have another cameraman who would kind of come in to talk to the announcers. But we'll see if they might be able to fit kind of a GoPro or something up here for us. It'll definitely be a fun broadcast. I believe, is that your first game you've done through the NESCOM live broadcast?
It is. I am very nervous about it. That might be a red card. That's a very clear scoring opportunity. 1-0 with the keeper. I know the card level was high on Mosey coming into it. Hasn't received one yet, but had a lot of questionable tackles.
I don't think he really, I'm not sure if it was a strong enough of a tackle to get the red, as he will receive a yellow.
Did scare me. He reached in the red pocket for a second.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Masamongo's night could be nearing the end too. The Eagles already out of this one. You don't need really probably your two best defenders receiving red cards in this contest. Pretty sure the rule is that you would miss the next contest for that. Zach, you miss the next game if you get red card, right?
Yes, Pedro, that was the next game.
So that rule is indicating that if you get red carded in previous game, you then miss the next contest. So Molina will be out for that one. And I don't think you want to be missing Masamongo as well. So Weinstein will come in, getting some of his first minutes of the season. Though, actually, I say that I think he played a fair amount against Presque Isle. Played a half against Presque Isle, so not his first minutes of the season, but coming in here in this tightly kind of heated game. Definitely settled down a little bit. I think the Eagles kind of lost the fire a little bit as this one moved on. Alvarez trying to fight for the ball. This is a dangerous time, though, Kane, to make strong tackles out there. The book's already been opened up. Kind of the floodgates have opened. This is that point in the game where referees kind of just start handing out cards for any foul out there just as a way to control things a little bit.
Yeah, and that's normally something we see from Mr. Brown in the middle. The first half is play, 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 play. Then the second half is, all right, we have to calm this down a little bit. So Mr. Brown in the middle is typically known for being more card heavy in the second half than the first. So especially in a game like this, you might want to cool the heads a little bit, especially if you're playing on those limitations.
Eagles counterattack chance here as Neto pokes that one to nobody and will be kicked out wide by Thomas. And some collision down there on the right wing as a couple players colliding down there. as I believe that's both Nugera and the right back. As will be yellow cards to both of them.
I mean, we just saw that might be a collision in the first half that just gets snipped under the rug. Oh, bad blood, little collision, it's okay. But here in the second half, they're both going to get yellows, both get the warnings, and we've seen a lot of them so far.
So it'll be a Terriers free kick. Down around even with the 18. And I think just waiting for a ball down there. Clock stopped at 23 and a half minutes. This has been a long second half so far, Caden.
Yeah, we're only 20 minutes in. Feels like it's been the whole time of the first.
Game obviously getting underway at 5, so in terms of runtime, technically should have been over about 10 minutes ago, but or nearing the end of it just about now, but with all the stoppages and all the goals as well. Wouldn't be surprised if this 23 minutes pushes us well past 7. Could see the women's game delayed slightly. We might have a late night down here. So it's another hard tackle.
Oh, broke the corner flag. The corner flag comes flying off.
Those corner flags, I think, just kind of pushed into those little kind of cone bases down there. So we'll see 3 different substitutions coming in here for Thomas. They're going to remove a couple of those players who were getting into it a little bit with the Eagles. As both Francis and Elcott will come off, along with Spence. So really, I think those are 3 names that we talked about as guys who were getting under the Eagles' skin a little bit. So it'll be a throw-in now for Husson down near the Thomas bench. This one's going to get sent up the side, kicked out by Thomas. Trying to move it up the field. Sear with it. That one's going to get poked out wide by Thomas. So Beckett Parkin will enter for Alvarez. So continuing to open up this bench, both teams. See if the Eagles might have a chance to put a few more, make this game a little bit less ugly on the score sheet. Chamberlain dribbling it into the middle, trying to put something in towards the box. But no one really crashing there for the Eagles.
Yeah, we just haven't seen a lot of nice quality shots from the Eagles either. I feel like that's something that we normally see. Like we normally, I mean, last year in the quarterfinal games, 26 shots. We just haven't seen that from the Eagles. We just haven't seen an offensive explosion. We're seeing more of this possessive style. And obviously, they've had the opportunities. They've had some nice opportunities off the free kicks, some nice opportunities on some crosses, on a nice run down. But just not those into the box, clean opportunities off the foot.
Well, they're almost reminding me kind of like the Spain national team of just, they've been passing. They get it up around the offense and then kind of nothing really there, and then they pull it all the way back, and then push it all the way back up the field. Whereas the Terriers have just been capitalizing on the chances they have had against the Eagles. Hard tackle on that one as Nugera goes down again. And we'll call the foul, though. It's going to go out to Masamongo. Finding Chamberlain has players on him immediately. That's one of the big differences, I think, between the goal for the Eagles and then the rest of this contest. They started pressing these wingbacks, and it really led to a lot of chances for the Terriers. I think you saw Husson have a lot of space early in the contest, which led to them possessing the ball more, but now the Terriers have just kind of been pressing up the wings a lot more than they did. Sear trying to fit something towards Nugera, nothing there. As now the Terriers with it. Gasser with it in the middle is going to find Parkin. As Masamongo with it now. Trying to move it up the field. And Chamberlain not managing to keep that one in place, so will be out for a throw-in. Chamberlain winning that header, but second one won here by Thomas. So Grandstrom with it here in the middle. And that's a good step there from Weinstein. Looks like Montigny set to come in for the Eagles. Potentially on the offensive end for either Sear or Neto. This one sent in. That was nearly an own goal there on the Eagles. Chamberlain trying to head that one wide, didn't quite catch it cleanly.
It's just a weird vibe. I just don't think I was expecting to see today. I just figured like both the teams' records, how the scores looked from comparing matches from this season, what happened in all the matches last season. You just kind of figured it was going to be one of those tight games down to the final whistle. But 6-1, both teams just kind of out of it right now, just doing their own thing, not even playing really a system game at this point, just playing their own, just everybody doing their own thing. It's just a weird vibe you just didn't expect to see today.
Another foul there in the midfield. So Masamongo will take it here. Going to go out wide to Weinstein. As Thomas is going to take it right back here. That's Hodgins on the possession. Eagles need to avoid a foul right around the 18 here. This one sent in. Chamberlain's just going to kick that one wide. I think that's the one that the Witt might have been able to scoop up, though.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where you're down 5 goals, 15 minutes left. Your team's not really just working together right now. I mean, you could hear DeWitt saying keep, but I think Chamberlain just instant reaction just took over, just playing defense, trying to not let the score get worse.
And Looked like the goalkeeper calling over the referee, or the trainer right away on that one. Might have been a collision down there on that back post. And we'll take a quick break here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Take a drink of water as he gets checked out. And back here on the Husson Eagles Sports Network, that's Victor Blanco, who's going to walk off under his own power. Adam Woods will enter the game to replace him at that center back position. I think Blanco having a collision down there on that corner kick. So another whistle, Eagles free kick midfield here. And Chamberlain gets wiped out down here right on the sideline. I think that's going to be a card awarded to number 17 in Harry Clough. So Chamberlain taking his time at getting back to his feet. That was a hard collision down there.
I mean, you could hear it. I mean, through the headphones we're wearing where you can our voices are amped.
And a closed glass.
Yeah,
I mean,
you could hear it, just the bodies colliding, but Chamberlain getting up under his own power, so that's something you love to see.
Chamberlain definitely someone who will get physical right back with you.
We saw it for the 5 minutes standing on the 18 for the PK when both teams were going at it. Then forgot who he was with, but he was just body contact the entire time, waiting for them to take the PK.
And it'll be an interesting game to watch, I think, between these two later in the season. They'll play at Thomas on the 19th of October. So just a few weeks away. That one, a good ball in from Chamberlain, but knocked away by Thomas. That one's going to get kicked up the left wing. So clock down under 15 minutes, trying to click down. Dangerous ball over to DeWitt, manages to hold on to it though. So a couple of the Eagles goalkeepers now. We mentioned they got those 4 young keepers in DeWitt, Bermudez, Jordan, and Jamie Barr out there. Have a couple of them now have had some just not so pleasant performances out there. Just kind of tough on the keeper when you have those 1v1s with the strikers. You don't want to be having those chances taken against you.
Yeah, they've all had games. I think Jordan and DeWitt now obviously have both had games where I don't think either of them played terribly. And that's hard to say as a goalkeeper. Normally when you see the 6 on the scoreboard, you just assume, oh, what was the goalkeeper doing that game? But both of them in those games didn't play terribly at all. It was simply just bad bounces for them, tough chances that they couldn't get.
And this one bounced towards the left wing. Gary gets dragged down on the far sideline.
He's taking a beating so far this second half.
Good job, I think, from Nugera and over this overall Eagles team. I don't think we've had a card in the last 10 minutes or so against the Eagles, which is something that can be difficult, I think, down 5 in a contest against your rival. It's been very physical. They've been trying to get under your skin the whole contest. After that red card, they really settled down a little bit.
Josh Nadeau slowed up there. I don't think he had a good read on it at all. I think just slowing up, know the situation. You clean out a goalie like the two were going straight contact. Would have been tough to defend that one from a card.
I think Neto a better man than me out there on the field. I was a little notorious in high school for a lot of the goalkeepers didn't love me all that much.
That's why you got a bad reputation. Now you're up here in the booth.
Yeah, that's why I got retired for sure. This one sent up the field. Neto trying to win that one. So the Eagles really haven't managed to get much of anything going in this contest over the whole duration of it, Caden. You had that one kind of funky goal that I think was really a bad corner kick that took a good bounce and then a couple good bounces off of players.
I think something important that we haven't brought up yet either is this team hasn't played, and I believe has been just over, it's been like 8 days this team hasn't played. Their last game was against Umpy. And, you ask any player from that game, how'd that Umpy game go? They all said, we did not play good, man. We did not play good at all. And if you don't play good your last game, and then you have 8 days and you're only thinking about that last game, all the mistakes you made, then the next time you come out, you're just thinking, oh my God, I don't want to make those mistakes. And what happens once you put those in your head, you start to make those mistakes. And I think that's just a little bit of what we've seen today is just them trying so hard not to make the mistakes that they actually are ending up making more mistakes, trying not to make that one.
Yeah, and the Terriers are coming off a big victory just a few days ago where they won 3-1. And this one, Neto trying to put something towards the back post. Nothing there, though. So it'll be a goal kick here for the Terriers. So Chamberlain taking this one into the middle. He's going to give it over to Parkin. Parkin, good little turn there in the middle. He's going to fit it back to the left side. Good ball in towards Montigny, just a little too high, though. That one's going to just get kicked all the way back to the defense. Under 9 minutes now in the game. As the Eagles still just trying to fit things up to the offense, but just haven't managed to do anything so far. That's a tough one there on Parkin. He dragged him down for sure, but I don't think that's a yellow card without the history prior to that yellow card being awarded.
Yeah, the way
Really,
Charlie Brown's called this game, that in the first 15 minutes, that was not going to be a yellow.
Really, Parkin's first foul, I think, of the contest.
Yeah.
Almost.
And it's tough sometimes coming off the bench, seeing your teammates, give these fouls, take them back, like just contact, getting fired up, hearing it from the other sideline with the benches going at that, with the benches going at it, the coaches going at it. I mean, it's tough. It's tough when you're just waiting around, waiting for your opportunity. Big save there by DeWitt.
That's a hard foul there. Montigny on the defender. That'll be a yellow card against him. I think again, he kind of got mildly fouled, came right back, laid the shoulder into him.
And now all of a sudden the kids who haven't played too much this game are getting right back into it.
But it's devolving here. And a lot of yellow cards awarded in this one. Zach, how many are there? How many yellow cards? 5. There's been a grand total of 10 yellow cards between the two teams.
And the red card on Molina.
Yeah. Obviously that one being the double yellow for him.
33 fouls so far. That's an insane stat.
And we were expecting it to be kind of similar to this, but maybe not quite. Obviously, the score we weren't expecting coming into the game and or the amount of fouls a little bit higher than I would have probably guessed at coming into it. I think last time these two teams played, you had yellow cards for both Alvarez and Molina in that one, as well as Lopez, and then Simmons and Grandstrom getting yellow cards for Thomas. I believe Simmons graduated now for the Terriers. Montigny on it now. That one's going to get kicked out wide for a corner kick. The Storm's going to come out there. And I think taking Nugera off. So it'll be Gasser who's going to take this corner kick. Gasser in towards the box, headed clear. Neto with a second chance at it. Going to put that one well wide.
Seeing 3 goals, I think it would have hit the left one.
So the Terriers just wasting time down in the corner here. Content to let this clock run down. Up 5 right now on the Eagles. This one up the right sideline now for Chamberlain. Going to try to send it up towards Neto. Neto's been out there for a while, though. That one headed up towards this near sideline. Parkin finding Masamongo. No foul there on Gasser. That one too hard of a pass, and it'll be out for a Husson throw-in. So corner kick chance here for the Terriers. That one's sent in, and it's going to bounce wide. I think that's going to be a foul potentially on the Terriers, so it'll be Eagles kick here from basically the goal line. So under 5 minutes now. Mongo going out wide to Chamberlain. Into the middle to Parkin. That's going to be out for a Thomas throw-in. And Parkin dragged off the ball here in the middle. And Weinstein trying to send that one out wide, but gets poked right back to Masamongo. Woods trying to send that one up, but nothing there. And this one poked off this sideline. Chamberlain with it. The Eagles will have a little bit of a quicker turnaround later on in the year. And this one getting brought up the middle by Hodgins. Knocked away now. Now this ball sent into the middle, but DeWitt there. He's going to grab onto it. Masamongo with it now. Finding Chamberlain. Going to go all the way back to DeWitt. And this Thomas team definitely switched up kind of their strategy as this game went on. That one a great ball from Neto towards Montigny. Great sliding tackle made there by the Terriers. They'll nip that one in the bud. That was Kjartansson, another freshman from Iceland for this Terriers squad.
Yeah, I think that change on the fly halfway through that second half after Husson scored that goal, I think that was huge for them. As soon as they started making that switch, saw what was going to happen, made the switch early instead of waiting until halftime to do it. Making that switch early and then building on it out of halftime instead of making that switch at halftime truly just changed the momentum for them. So when they came out for halftime, they were A, under the Eagles' skin, and B, had a perfect game plan on how to attack the Eagles. And I think that's just really what turned the tides in those first 15 minutes in the second.
And fighting for it here in the middle. Parkin with it. He's going to try to find Neto up the right wing. Neto given a lot of space to run. He's going to put a shot on. Saved. Second chance there. And we're going to have a penalty kick upcoming for the Eagles. So it's going to be Neto to take this one. Graduate student. Probably would have picked either him or Gasser, I think, to take this one, or potentially Masamongo. I think this is the Eagles' first penalty kick of the season. Only 30 seconds left in the game. And that one saved as Neto puts that one off the keeper's gloves. That was a bottom corner shot, but good save there from the keeper.
It's just the story of the game, I guess, for this Eagles squad. Can't just get anything going offensively, even on the PKs. But just a tremendous save. I mean, you're down 5. You normally probably won't go all out for it, but why not? Makes the save. Leave even on a higher note than what they already will be under.
And that will end the contest as the Terriers come in to the Eagles' nest and leave victorious in dominant fashion, winning 6-1 over this Eagles squad.
Yeah, not much to say. The Terriers definitely played a great game plan, did a great job adjusting, an amazing job executing their game plans, and just a tremendous game, and it's going to definitely be up there for momentum boosters for the season. I can't see them slowing down anytime soon.
And so the Terriers will move on with their season. The Eagles will be taking on Presque Isle next Tuesday for taking on Farmington that same week on Friday, and Maine Maritime on Saturday. So a big kind of 3-game grouping there towards the end of next week. Could really decide some of the kind of overall seedings for the year. Right now, the Terriers very much in the driver's seat, I think, for that number 1 seed, Caden.
Yeah. And it's just a great showing. It's going to be implemental towards the end of the year. The Eagles just, I don't know how else to say it, they pooped their pants today in the second half. They just absolutely just got in their own heads, got nervous, and all of a sudden you're down 5 goals. That's what happened. They have to learn. I mean, this happened in the Bowdoin game too. They just didn't come out the first half ready, and they just didn't come out in the second half ready. You have to learn how to come out with force, learn how to beat the adjustments early, and they just didn't do that today.
And that will do it for us up here in the booth for this contest. Caden, you'll be back on the call for the women's game starting in about 30 minutes here. Down at Boucher Fields, they'll take on the Terriers as well, kicking off about 15 minutes later than expecting. But for now, thank you all for joining us. Have a good rest of your evening. I've been Avery Henningsen alongside Caden Trenowit.